Recently, I introduced 5-dimensional Omnitrixes, but YouTube let me redo it, with a twist. I'll show you which is the best. They all have such epic alien transformations and such well-crafted stories that they could easily belong to any of these. Ben Tennyson, whom we previously saw in the Ben 10 series. The next 5 Omnitrixes each have special features, and this video aims to find out which one is the most interesting. So I'll be quiet for a month and let's get started. The 5 Omnitrixes that I'm going to show you have interesting purposes, like the Chambatrix. For a long time, it was thought that the Chambatrix transformed the user into the best version, an alien to work, but that's not the case. The Chambatrix makes exclusive use of its aliens, giving the user the most capable form for working. Unlike other Omnitrixes, the user doesn't transform, but swaps places with the alien inside, letting the alien emerge and take their place. This is the only Omnitrix without a specific transformation. Now, talking about the crappy tricks, this one turns you into the crappiest, lamest, and most underwhelming version possible of an alien. It uses double of batteries and its battery drains quickly. Just using it gives you the benefit of getting bullied at school, not to mention that it breaks down and malfunctions all the time. And no, it doesn't tell the time. The Alternatrix, Demontrix, and Spartatrix are Omnitrixes that provide aliens with varying mutation levels. Let me explain. The Alternatrix gives you altered alien transformations, which we can control thanks to this Omnitrix. The Demontrix goes even further, as it gives the alien demonic characteristics with extra abilities that can be used to create a unique being. Now, this idea of lending is also reflected in the Spartatrix, since the Omnitrix uses the aliens to maximize the wielder's mythical weapons, like this fire with the Swords of Chaos. One of the best things these Omnitrixes can give us is that they all share the story of having an Omnitrix. Each one tells us different stories in the Spartatrix universe. Azimuth, a Galvan scientist, created it as a tool for peace. A device with the purpose of promoting understanding between species by allowing other beings to experience different forms of life. It would also store the DNA of over 1 million alien species. Azimuth focused on Earth during a particular era, ancient Greece, when the gods ruled over humans. Azimuth watched, curious about how the constant wars developed, thanks to the gods manipulating them and offering their help. The Galvan didn't trust them at all. In fact, he saw them as a possible threat to the galaxy. Azimuth had to be cautious, so he took his still developing Omnitrix and decided to modify it, so that it would defend the weak from those gods with bad intentions. The goal was to send it to Sparta based on the determination these warriors had to protect their own. What he never imagined was that when he sent it to Earth, a ship would change its course, leaving it lost for a long time. He would eventually realize that sending it to Sparta was a mistake, since the Omnitrix ended up with the ghost of Sparta. A warrior uses his power not for self-defense, but to wage war on Olympus and fulfill his revenge. In the Demontrix universe, remember 2 things. Events start after Azimuth creates the Sword of Ascalon. The destruction of several planets caused many beings to become interested in the Galvan after the terrible event. The next step is to clarify that these beings are a species of aliens who have always lived in the null void. Having the ability to observe all the important events in this dimension, now these beings would become interested in a specific Galvan, Azimuth, who, in trying to correct his mistake, would attempt to build the Omnitrix, a super powerful device whose function was to understand all species. Knowing this, several of the demons would decide to voluntarily enter the Omnitrix so that the universe could understand them as well. The problem arises when Azimuth sends the Omnitrix and the same events as in the original series occur. You know, the squid arrives, intercepts the ship, causing the device to be ejected. Here, these demons take advantage of the situation by trying to enter the Omnitrix. The device detected their presence and imprisoned them, causing their essence to influence its form and future transformations in the Alternatrix universe. The main characteristics of Ben's aliens were altered by a malfunction in the Omnitrix's programming, drastically modifying their DNA. But for security measures within the system itself, these are not unstable to use. What actually changes is that the qualities of the aliens are the opposite of the original aliens' qualities. In the Chambatrix universe, Azimuth, as usual, is interested in humanity, but now focuses on a specific sector. The workers, not having the right technology, were put in danger by several of their jobs, so he would decide to create a device to help humanity. He altered alien DNA to make them fit for work, then sent it to Earth for a human to discover and use its power. Ultimately, a young grandfather named Max would end up with it, giving us another perspective since we know the user is important. Going back to the bearers, among the 5 dimensions we would have 3. With Kratos being the one and only fucking master of the universe, the Spartan was a god, with or without weapons. Imagining him with the Omnitrix infused with the aliens puts him on another level. The Spartatrix perfectly united the user, the aliens, and their divine weapons. The Blades of Chaos had to be used and powered by Paranite's heat. 4 arms, the strongest alien, took the Nemean gauntlets and could now split Earth in 2. The Spartan shield and spear came from the same diamond head wielder. Each alien grew stronger with every new weapon they acquired. Kratos as Accelerate 8 with Hermes' boots, as Beast with Spartan Rage, or as the Insectoid himself, using magic. The Omnitrix adapted well to this version. This is one of the key points about universes like the Alternatrix we mentioned earlier, which are opposites. Heat Blast was still a Paranite, but now he was called Hazer, who could emit gigantic steam eruptions. This alien was now called 4 Ways, since his abilities had changed. With such strong mental powers, able to distort space, float, and create psychic shields. Carbonite was the counterpart of Diamond, who became more fragile, but with the ability to regenerate, something the original Diamond also used to do. But hey, let's remember that not everything can be perfect. In fact, the flaws of each Omnitrix and how they knew how to deal with them were what made Alternatrix special. This one gave us the worst range of aliens that could exist. They're the original aliens, but since it was made so badly, it gives us low-class aliens like Umo. The Paranite struggles to create fire, usually making just sparks with 2 sticks. He'd be the strongest alien, matching an average human's strength. Although for his species, Tetraman would be like a crystal insect. That was it, having such a fragile condition that any impact would finish him off. This alien does not have any regeneration. Now the Chambatrix was totally different, since it literally stored aliens and made them coexist together until the user needed them. Here, Fuego worked as a 4-arms welder, diamond head builder, Accelerate 8 minor delivery guy, and was very big. He was a star who acted in movies like the Godzilla ones. The guy was in The Monster Bird. The Chambatrix takes first place on this podium, being one of the best Omnitrixes that changed and revived the fandom. The Alternatrix takes second place. Nothing represents it better than the Alternatrix. To know that all the aliens have to be the strongest, with the best powers or the best designs, a bit of creativity will always make your Omnitrix and your aliens stand out. The Alternatrix has enough potential to take third place, since it's an Omnitrix that could easily be used in the original series by some Ben from the Multiverse. The Demontrix misses the podium with a strong story, while the Spartatrix finishes last. Both are now available. 4K for Supreme subscribers. You can download it by going to the community section. Not much more to say. I say goodbye. I'm Frio10 Mil, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.